you can get refreshments for before you head inside, and with the sun being out, everyone's in a good mood. The mega store down there as well, looking very, very busy. I've had to already navigate my way through the crowds at the moment, but the optimism is definitely in the air. Everyone is feeling very positive, especially after last week needing a little bit of a reaction, I suppose, and striking back against the side in Leicester City that have also found their struggles this far this season. It's going to be a very, very good afternoon. We are very excited for it. Thank you for joining us on Matchday Live. Here we are in front of Peter Osgood at Stamford Bridge in the sunshine with a 3 o'clock kickoff. Come on, you Blues. Thomas Tuchel and his boys return home. Stamford Bridge very much playing its part this afternoon in the sunshine. The team are ready. All smiles from the coach so far after a difficult week. Open training and a press conference to navigate his way through. But now, this is it. Business time has arrived at the bridge. The players are ready, as are we, on Matchday Live. Good afternoon, thank you for joining us. I'm delighted to say I'm in the company of the boys. Sam and Zach, lads, are we good?
All good, all good. The sun is shining. You know, I'm better in the sun rather than the cold. So, yeah, it's a good day, good game.
Fair weather player, Zach, fair weather player. You, on the other hand, mate.
Oh, when it's raining, that's where my pride comes in. No technical ability involved, just pure strength, supposedly. But yeah, not too bad, mate, thank you.
Let's have a little chat about last weekend, Zach, because, you know, it was a difficult performance up at Leeds. Disappointing defeat, but an opportunity today to show a reaction, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the beauty. The Premier League comes around thick and fast. Games are always happening, and the second you have a strong performance today, everyone forgets about last week and is talking about how great you were in that game. And look, Leicester may have also had quite a slow start as well, but they are tricky opposition. We've seen that over the past few years. Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, knows how to play against Chelsea. He's spent time at Chelsea. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Some other teams have started really well so far this season, and perhaps names that we wouldn't assume would be up there. You know, Arsenal and Tottenham, two of the early pace setters. Manchester City we expect to be up there as well. But I suppose today's important because you don't want a gap to start to develop, do you?
Yeah, and you just want to get into a routine of winning. You know, that's the type of mentality you want. You know, Tuchel spoke about it in press conferences. You've seen it last season as well. Once you have a bad run of games, it's very difficult and you're always feeling that pressure of catching up. So it's always good to maintain that pace and making sure that the team know that these are the type of conversations you want to be in, you know, around the champions, around those top 4 spots, and that's what you need to do.
Might be a nice time to play Leicester City as well. They've struggled first half of the season, or first couple of games, only a point so far on the board, and that was in the first day. Defeats to Arsenal and Southampton since then. So maybe we're saying it's a reaction from Chelsea. Potentially Leicester will be saying the same thing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, imagine you come out and you manage to beat Chelsea, or you get a really good draw. Like, that can spur you on. We are maybe a little bit lucky because I assume personally they probably will go and spend before the end of the transfer window in, try and get some reinforcements as well, strengthen the squad, so may be able to play them at a decent time. But yeah, I think it's the Premier League. No matter what game you're playing, everyone wants 3 points. There's no easy fixture.
Like Zach alluded to there, this Leicester City side may look very different in a week's time when the window's closed. So potentially there is a little bit of maybe it is a nice time to play them because, you know, if they do get a certain amount of money that comes in or a player departs, they can reinvest that in the squad. It could be very different in a week's time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also when you look at their squad on the other end of it, there might be players that are looking for that move or a new contract as well, so they're going to be playing for that. And who doesn't like playing against Chelsea? You know, coming to Stamford Bridge for a lot of players it's like a dream come true. So I'm guessing they're going to put their best foot forward. So it's going to be a tough game, but I'm sure we'll be prepared for it.
Really will be. It's going to be an interesting afternoon. We've got plenty of eyes around the ground for you, including up in the gantry for us this afternoon, Matt Davies-Adams and Jason Cundy. Boys, good afternoon.
Afternoon. Hello, Joe. How are you doing?
Very well, mate. How are you?
We are excited, I think. The excitement is palpable between Mr. Cundy and myself as we wait for what we think might well be a first home win of the season.
Well, let's hope so. Look, this is a side, if you had to cherry pick a side you play at home right now, low on confidence, no new signings. There's all sorts of rumours. I spoke to a lot of Leicester City fans midweek. They had to go to penalties in the League Cup against Stockport. A lot of them want him out. I mean, that's where we're at right now. So this is a big, big game for Leicester. Massive game for us as well. Anything less than 3 points feels substandard. I mean, absolutely. So a win only, guys. That's all I'm accepting.
Big game then for the teams. Individually, Trevor Chalobah, the only change from that game against Leeds last week. We know he's had to wait for his opportunity to come in. There's a lot of speculation around him. It's not that long ago, is it? It feels like less than a year that he lit up this place against Crystal Palace on opening day. We're not expecting him to score today, but put yourself in his shoes. You know, you were a centre-half as well. How's he feeling coming into this match, knowing that this might be his only chance to impress?
Oh, let me tell you now, that's not how footballers think. He will come into this. This is an opportunity for him to come in now. And Koulibaly, look, there was no one that played well against Leeds. I thought Koulibaly's decision to get the second yellow was, by a man of his standards and quality and experience, that was a bad decision. Opportunity knocks. Look, Chalobah's breakthrough season was last year. He'll be thinking, look, everyone's talking about Fofana. Who knows if that deal's going to get over the line? We don't know. We all want to see Reece James at right wing back. That ultimately is the decision that we all want to see. Reece plays centre half against right of the three. It might well be a situation the Fofana deal doesn't get done. Then Chalobah is all of a sudden in the mix for maybe muscling in a place, possibly alongside Thiago, maybe alongside Koulibaly, and then Reece is forced that way. So let me tell you, he'll be looking forward to this, and what a wonderful afternoon it is in West London to play.
Let's just switch our focus briefly from this game to the Champions League. Draw was made on Thursday in Turkey. General consensus from Chelsea supporters I've spoken to seems to have been, could have been better, could have been worse?
Yeah, no, I think we've been in this situation so many times, and I love the Champions League draw. When I walked away from it, I kind of was happy, you know, that we should get through. We know it's going to be a tricky one, right? There are games in there, but ultimately the first game away has been decided. We're over in, remind me quickly. Zagreb, that's the one. So, look, that's a game. You want to get off to a good start. Take 3 points there, and we've got really off to an absolute flight, absolutely crucial. We should qualify, but we want to qualify top. We've seen too many times where we haven't qualified top where we should do, and it comes back to haunt you.
So Chelsea, kicking off the Champions League campaign. Tuesday the 6th, away to Dinamo Zagreb in the Mateo Kovacic derby. So that's what Jace thinks of the Champions League group stage draw. But what about the Chelsea fans? We caught up with some of them earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think AC Milan will be a tough one, but I think the other two are easily winnable. But, yeah, no, I think we've got a good chance of getting through.
Definitely the Milan game. Having Olivier Giroud come back against us, I think it'll be interesting if he does play to see, like, if he scores past us. Let's really hope not, but obviously I was a big Giroud fan. Helped us win quite a few trophies, so it's exciting to see that, isn't it?
You know, the atmosphere will be fantastic for the games against Milan. It's obviously a very big club. So yeah, that's going to be the one that everyone's looking forward to.
Last time you were there, Dennis put one away, if you remember.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've been there since as well.
Yeah, we've been there since.
I just think it's exciting. Yeah, it's good. You never know. If we're on our game and if we play really well, there's not a problem. There's not a problem. I mean, through the group stage will be fine if we play really well, but you never know.
Tomori was obviously a Chelsea fan himself, and it's just like, you want him to play for England as well. You want him to have that opportunity. So coming facing us in the Champions League might give him that chance to play for England as well. So
yeah, I mean, they contributed massively towards the Champions League win. So, you know, I think be interesting to see them back at the bridge.
Because you've got the Champions League's going to be all cramped in, then you've got the World Cup coming, we've just had the Euros, so it's going to be a condensed period, and I just hope the fans appreciate it and stay with us.
Love it. I love it. Wonderful to see a family turn up as well, getting involved in that. Quite a lot of people having their say as well on social media for the reaction to the Champions League groups. And as we can understand, like Jason and Matt so eloquently put, it does feel that maybe with Zagreb and with Salzburg, like these ones are saying here, obviously, those are the two that you look at immediately and go, OK, that's quite a favourable draw. You know, there were tougher sides in both of those pots. AC Milan's a test, and we'll come on to that. But Zach, with the first two, Salzburg and Zagreb, they're tough games, but they're also games that you'd fancy Chelsea to win. Yeah, in terms of looking at it and the stature of the clubs and the quality in the players that they've got, you can understand why Chelsea look like they're going to come out on top. I completely agree. I will say, and I always do caveat with the Champions League and like football in general, the nights are special. It's where players, like in a knockout game, just because you've got a player who is fantastic, they might have a bad day, and one of their players may be amazing and score a worldie or whatever might happen. That's what can happen in the Champions League. We've seen it happen many times. We've seen it happen for us and benefit us, and also against us. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's the beauty of the Champions League. It's why we watch it, and yeah, I'll be very excited for it. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, going to be a special night, isn't it, AC Milan? Quite a lot of people getting very excited about that tie. That is going to be the one. Again, social media having their say on Chelsea, AC Milan. I think a lot of people, myself included, to be fair, beforehand, thought, Nice little away day for Milan.
Happily.
That's a nice one, isn't it? Dennis Wise in the San Siro. He lives not too far away from Milan now, Dennis Wise. So yeah, that's a lovely little narrative as well, lovely little story to tie in. Everyone knows this is the iconic picture from that game. Even the old Champions League logo in the background there, and of course these two boys. Sam, huge part of our Champions League campaign. Two elegant footballers, just lovely people as well, really embodied what it was to be a Chelsea player at that time. Lovely to see Olivier Giroud and Fikayo Tomori back at the bridge.
Yeah, 100%. I think when they went, obviously we were quite upset, but you understand, you know, players want to play games. You know, Tomori as well, he's quite young, but you've seen what he's gone on to do, you know, winning their first Serie A title in, I think, 11 years. You know, Giroud playing a big part in that as well. And like you said, they were just good human beings. You know, anyone that has come across them, you can have conversations about anything and they'll give you their time as well. So it's going to be really nice seeing them back. But obviously, we need to get the win. We can talk about that after we get the win.
yeah, it's all nice. Smiles at full time.
Yeah.
Let's get it done first. Right, so boys, this happened last week for the first time, but we're going to do a bit of trivia, OK? So, Sam, you've already sat through one of these. A trivia question. We don't know this. We've not seen this. And we'll be allowed till half-time to make sure we get the answer for it. Here is the question that we've got for today. Who won the controversial penalty in our 1-0 FA Cup fifth-round replay against Leicester in the 96-97 season? I think I know this.
Oh, thank God.
I think I know
the year I
this.
was born this, by the way. So.
and I think I know this purely because I think we've done a little bit on this recently. I'm setting myself up for a fail now, boys.
All the people
I believe in you, don't worry. So you've got this.
We'll keep it a little bit quieter, but I think so.
You're stepping up for our penalty right now.
Yeah. You said, lads, I've got this.
We can't see any comments, but if you know who it is already, please do have your say, and then maybe we'll try and sneak that in. We'll have a little look. Let's move on to a club legend. We've already seen Dennis Wise already. We've spoken about Tomori. We've spoken about Giroud. Cesar Azpilicueta. The documentary come out this week, 10 Years of Blue. What a legend. I mean, what is there to say that you can't already say about this man, Sam? What an incredible player, what an incredible servant, club captain, legend.
I think he just epitomises what it's been to be a Chelsea player over the last,
10 years.
10 years. Honestly, his consistency, his mentality, the work that he does with the younger players that have come through as well, and that winning mentality as well. You see, like, even as he gets older, he keeps that same mentality. He keeps telling the youngsters, and you hear them talk about, you heard it in the documentary as well, about how he keeps them going. You see him working, you think, I'm 23, why am I not working as hard as him? Do you know what I mean? So he's just a great player to have at the club. He's won everything, the only player to do that at the club as well, and he still wants to keep going. And I was so happy when he signed another contract, because you need players like him. You know, he's a true blue, and I'm just happy that he's still blue.
He's one of those players as well, Zach, isn't he, that every fan has a smile in their face as soon as you mention his name, because, like Sam's brilliantly put there, he means so much to the club, not just on the field, but off the field as well. He sets an example, and he's someone you can be so proud of when he wears the armband.
Honestly, he's one of the nicest guys going at the club, and he's such a great human being, and like everything. I don't know if when we signed him, anyone expected it to go to the way it has for him, to be the captain, to have won everything, to have been so important in so many different roles under so many different managers. Whether you asked him to play left back, whether you asked him to play centre back, whether you asked him to play right wing back, he was more than willing to do it. He's also popped up with a few very crucial goals as well for us. But during that era, when Thomas Tuchel first came in, he was one of the guys to really help him and set and get the squad around him and helping them out. And also when the new boys came in, as you mentioned, Mason Mount, these guys, when they first stepped into the squad, welcoming them into the side and making sure that they felt comfortable and more than happy to play week in, week out. He's a guy who, honestly, on and off the pitch, is one of the best that we've ever had.
Something tiny, and I think it's been mentioned before, but he spoke after lockdown and about checking in with all the players and members of staff and fans as well, doing Zoom calls with fans and sort of going above and beyond. And in an era now where we talk a lot more about mental health, especially within a football context as well, and players and fans alike, for him to step up and be such a sort of a leader in that aspect shows the quality of the man and how impressive he is as a person, not just a footballer. But he does feel like, Sam, and it doesn't really feel like it's one of those things that is a big thing, but it is a big thing. If he were to be up on the shed wall, he feels like one of those people, one of those icons 100%. Of the football club that will be here for years to come.
Yeah, 100%. He, like you said, he's a man that genuinely cares for the club and the people around the club, and you understand that because obviously when he came in, you know, like Zach said, no one would have expected him to, you know, have this status. But I think his main aim was to have a status like that at Chelsea. Obviously, he knew how big the club was, the team that he walked into. But now when you think about Chelsea, he's one of the first players that you think of because of what he means to the fans. And like I said, it's just amazing to have such a reliable, you know, nice person to represent the club.
Absolutely right. And he is, again, like all of those things that have been said, the thing that I suppose gets lost in this sometimes is how good a footballer he is. You know, we've spoke about his versatility, but his quality as well, and the consistency to perform at such a high level in a number of different positions over a decade in the Premier League is unheard of. Like there are players that will reach the pinnacle and have 5 or 6 years and then move on. Aspie has been at that level for a long time. Yeah,
he's Mr. Consistent. He always was. It was always a 7 out of 10, never below, and quite often would go higher in whatever position you wanted him to do. I mean, he's a manager's dream. Like, if you have an injury issue or you want to try a different formation, whatever it might be, he's the guy that you can make sure helps and fits it and understands it as well. Like, I've never spoken to him about this, but I feel like maybe eventually he might take the step into management and something like that. Would not surprise me with how well he understands the game and plays the game. He's brilliant, man, and just... it'll be a sad day, I think, when he goes or when he retires, and hopefully that's not for a long time. Completely agree. If you haven't seen Aspie, A Decade in Blue yet, make sure you go and watch the full thing. It's at chelseafc.com, on the YouTube channel, on the Fifth Stand app as well, but here's a little snippet of what you can expect.
He's got that characteristics now that put him as a leader.
Oh, where's he pulled that from?
There's no one I can think of that's a better professional. He's a role model.
He does it as the most committed player in the world with the biggest heart.
Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Azpilicueta glancing home, captain's goal.
Welcome to the warm-up. Before we get to today's game, I just want to ask you something about Cesar Azpilicueta, as soon as we're celebrating a decade of him being here. We weren't sure that he was going to be here for this season, but whether he's on the bench or whether he's starting, his influence around the club is massive, and is something which would have been a big loss. So it's such a boost to have him here for the next couple of years.
Do you know what? I've been fortunate enough to spend the whole time he's been here working on Chelsea TV. I've interviewed him many times. I've seen him out privately as well, been in his company. What a man. He is everything you see on the pitch as a player is the same sort of person. Yeah, honest, friendly off the pitch, by the way, not on it, which is fair. But he's just a brilliant man, and you know, I've been, like I said, lucky enough to spend time covering his career here at Stamford Bridge. Pretty much watched every single game, every minute he's played in. What a servant he has been. And you know, we talk about the name, the word legend gets used, and it's a word that gets banded around way too often. He is in that category of a Chelsea legend, no mistake whatsoever. He has won the lot, the absolute lot. And I remember when he turned up in 12, and he's so versatile. You know, he ended Ashley Cole's career at left back. I think his first game was away at Newcastle, and he played left back, and we were going, wow, where's this come from? Jose put him there. Not to say he ended his career, that's not fair, because Ash was the best left back this country's ever seen. But you know, that's the sort of man he is. Plays left-hand side of a 3, right-hand side of a 3, right wing back, right back, left. You know, he does the lot at the back. So, yeah, what a man.
Well, that is Cesar Azpilicueta on the bench today for Chelsea. Well, wherever we go, Trivago is with us, and now they bring us to Stamford Bridge to follow the warm-up of the Blues for the match against Leicester City. Well, Jason, as we have a look at the players going through the paces, not much in terms of buoyancy about Leicester City at the moment. We hope that that's going to work in Chelsea's favour. Let's get to our 3 points for 3 points. Number one, defend set pieces better. I'm not sure whether this applies to Leicester or Chelsea. I mean, it's both, really, isn't it? It's going to be an area that both will be looking to exploit, but from a Chelsea perspective, got to tighten things up.
Yeah, look, the game, a lot of games can hinge on set pieces and how well you do in them, both in your box and their box. A lot of teams, when I used to play, Wimbledon is a great example, used their season depended on how well they executed or defended set pieces. Their season could be defined by that. And this season so far, we've dropped 2 points at home against Spurs. You know, defending a corner in the last minute to take 3 points and to concede it. It's one of those you go, just get through these next 30 seconds. That's what you've got to do. Get through. And when you don't do that, and you live to regret it. The second goal against Leeds last week, it's a brilliant free kick on their part. I have to say, well, Rodrigo he's ahead of the race, but our body shape on that free kick, no one's aware. The body shape, the shoulders are what you call closed. You need them open to see runners coming across. Block them if you have to block them. Stick your arm across. It was a free header. You know, no contact whatsoever. You know, Reece was at the front of the defence of that line. And I'm blaming Reece, but as a unit, pass him on. Someone stop his run. Don't let him get that run. You know, there's all sorts of things you can do. We have to do that better. And you made the point there, they are vulnerable, Leicester. It's been an Achilles heel of theirs pretty much the whole time under Brendan, certainly the last 2 years. Yeah, can we take advantage at the other end as well?
Well, as we look at Raheem Sterling going through his paces, that brings us nicely on to point number 2, which is how do we get more out of the front three? It is the same front three that we've seen so far this season. Sterling, Mount and Havertz. What's the key then to getting them more involved? Are we maybe looking for Conor Gallagher to be able to play a bit more of a forward role than he was last week to enable that? Right,
OK, so yes, of course, the simple answer to that is yes. But the pace in which that Leeds pressed us. Leeds were brilliant last week, and what they did, they got our head down, and our second touch was always either being on a challenge, or was always a backward pass or a sideways pass. What I want to see is us move the ball quicker. Now, I know it sounds quite a simple thing, but it is in football. Can you have 2 touches instead of 3 or 4? Can you have 1 touch instead of 2? That changes the whole picture. And I felt we had too many touches. We played into their hands. I don't think we adapted to the way that Leeds pressed us. And that comes from the bench and also the players, because at times you've got to work things out for yourself on the pitch. You all know what's going on. You feel it. You sense it. You know you've got no time. I thought we laboured at times. So, yes, but to get them involved, in particular against us, it's OK. So Leeds pressed. So to get round that press, you've got to move it quickly or backwards, and then the next pass has got to go forwards. Today's going to be different. Leicester are going to be a more compact, counter-attacking side. Those spaces are going to be limited for different reasons. Same rules apply. Move the ball quicker. Can you play that pass first time? Sometimes you've got to take those risky passes. You know, the ones that might get someone in and beyond, and they might be a first-time pass, but it's risk and reward. But I think if we labour our passes, pass around the back, and 2 touches and back, they go through the middle. If that's what we're going to do, we're playing into Leicester's hands again. Move the ball quicker, and if there's a chance to move that ball, and get Raheem, get Mace on that half turn if we can as well. But it sounds simple. Do you know what, mate? It can be if you stick to the rules.
Well, the final of 3 points for 3 points is linked to that. Take our chances when they come. It sets the tone. It relieves anxiety. I'm going to go one step further than this, Jace. I'm going to say take the first chance and then take the second as well. Because how many times have we seen Chelsea over the last season or so here take the lead, not get the second goal, and then get pegged back?
Matt, you're 100% right, mate. We had chances against Spurs as well to extend that, to get that second goal. And that's what I mean. Take our chances early, but also, you're right, take chances. Now, look, we're a side that create a lot of chances. I think we could convert more. I don't know all of the stats under Thomas Tuchel's reign, but I would guess that there could be improvement. Of course, there could be improvement. But those chances, and the one I'm talking about in particular against Leeds, it came early, first minute to Raheem. He's done everything right, opened up the goal, he's gone across the edge of the box. He's got to bend his foot round and hit the target. He doesn't do that. The time he does do it, he's offside. But that's not just about Leeds I'm talking. I'm going back to the point you make, and it's absolutely valid. The chances that come at second, I mean, they're 2-0 to Havertz down here when Reece whips the ball across against Spurs, probably puts the game to bed. So yes, take chances early, of course, but taking chances when they come. Are we ruthless enough in front of goal? The answer is it's a no. And unless you are ruthless, you will get punished, as we have done.
So Leicester here, a team to be exploited, you'd say. 1 point from their 3 games so far. They were ahead last weekend against Southampton and ended up losing that one. They were 2-0 up against Brighton on the opening weekend of the season, but gave that away as well. But I guess from Brendan Rodgers' point of view, he'll be saying, well, maybe we're catching Chelsea at a good time. I mean, I'm really trying not to go into cliche mode here, Jace, but the more I look at this game and we're seeing the teams warming up in front of us, first goal here could be ginormous, couldn't it? Because if Chelsea get it, Leicester's shoulders slump again, and the mood that they're in, maybe this is the day where we see everything click at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, and again, going back to the point you make about Leicester's shoulders slumping, if Leicester do get the nose in front, you watch the atmosphere change here. You watch all of a sudden Leicester fighting to hold on to something where most people expect them not to get something. Look, I think the game against Leeds was a bad day at the office. There's no getting away from it, you know, and I don't really want to go over it because enough has been said, but it was a bad day. We can't be that bad today. What will happen? What we'll see today is more ball retention. There'll be more time and space on the ball, but there'll be less up top in the final third. And that's what we spoke about, going back to the point we made there about moving the ball quickly, trying to find those spaces when they appear. Because spaces don't often appear for long. It might be a millisecond. If that pass is not made at the right time, at the right pace, then the opportunity goes. But you're right. This is a side that right now, it feels like they're on their knees. You know, they've no signings. Or one you mentioned to me before. Come on, there's a third choice goalkeeper. That's not a signing that's going to get Leeds, the Leicester fans excited. The Fofana situation adds another little extra bit of something towards this game. Who knows where that's going to go? But Matt, this game, as far as I'm concerned, is all about us. If we turn up and we put in the performance that these players are capable of, we come away with 3 points. It's not even up for debate. If we don't, we allow a Leicester side right now, low on confidence, an opportunity to take something.
We're going to hear from Thomas Tuchel in a few minutes' time. I wanted to ask you what impact his absence from the touchline is going to have today, because he's one of the most demonstrative managers in the Premier League, isn't he? He might as well be playing the game half the time for the amount of involvement that he has. Are you, as a player, are you thinking, right, supply teacher, we can get away with what we like today, or are you thinking we need the gaffer here to talk us through it? What
a great analogy that is. I'm looking back at some of my supply teachers. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. No, that shouldn't make any difference today. He's going to give the team. He's going to be allowed to say what he needs to say. He's going to get his message across. You know, go out there and play. These are professional footballers, been in the game since they could walk. No, unless something happens, Matt, unless there's something in the game that changes the course of it, maybe a sending off, that someone needs to react quickly, maybe there's something that we can't foresee, you know? That's the only thing I can actually think of right now that might actually change the direction of this game, where Tuchel can't impact straight away.
He's got Emma Hayes down there with him for now. Shame she can't stand in, I suppose, do a little job swap for 90 minutes. But Thomas can be in the dugout. He can be in the changing room. He can give his pre-match and half-time team talks. I guess the other aspect is substitutions, isn't it? And it's something that we're speaking about more and more at the moment, because we look down at the team. They're the starters, but the finishers can be equally as important. Now that there are 5 substitutions, if Chelsea need to find a way to change the game, it looks today as though they have better options to do so than Leicester do.
Yeah, and I think there will be an opportunity for Thomas Tuchel to put in place what he considers the moves to be. For example, if it's 0-0 with 60 minutes gone, that message will be translated to the dugout, and the moves that he will be considering. You don't need to be an Einstein to work out the sort of moves you want to make, depending on if we're losing 2-0 or winning 2-0, the moves will be totally different.
Right, last question, and I want a detailed answer. What's going to happen in this game? Give me a scoreline, give me some scorers. Who's your man of the match?
Jeez. I'm going to go 2-0. I think it'll be a goal in each half. It feels like that kind of game. I don't think Leicester are capable of really hurting us. Certainly looking at the team, I like the fact that Chalobah has come back in, the Vardy pace. He's still quick, irrespective of his age. Dewsbury Hall, I'm a fan. I like him. Got a decent shot from distance, keep free kicks away, you know, all the sort of things you'd expect me to say right now. But like I said, if we bring out the game that we should be able to bring with the quality of the squad and the players that we've got, this should be quite, in the end up quite, I'm not saying it's going to be a comfortable 2-0 over the whole 90 minutes, but at the end of it, it should become quite a comfortable game. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go Mace to get the first goal.
All right, I'm going to add Raheem Sterling to get his first Chelsea goal today as well. Right, we mentioned Thomas Tuchel there. We caught up with him in the build-up to this match. Here's what the Chelsea boss had to say.
Thomas, good to see you. First up, how will your match day differ this week compared to normal, would you think?
Will be a bit different. It seems like I have a ban and need to watch from the stands. But as I know, I will be allowed to be in the locker room before the match and in between the match at half-time, so I think I can adapt.
You've had a busy week out on the training pitch. How's the week been following Leeds?
Good week, because as we don't like the result, it sharpens your view, it sharpens your opinion on the team, what we need to improve and what we are not good enough. And this is what it is. Nobody likes it, but it's necessary to grow. I said many times we are a team in transition, a club in transition, so it's not the moment to lose confidence, it's not the moment to get angry and to carry your anger around for several days. It's the moment to find solutions and train hard, sweat it out and be prepared for tomorrow's match.
You'll obviously have the fans at the bridge behind you. How important do you think the home form will be this year?
It's always important because home matches give you a certain boost and you can create a certain mentality and atmosphere that carries you through the match and gives you some extra points through a season. So it's very important to be strong at home, to make opponents arrive with a bad feeling in their stomach that they don't even believe that they can get something when the first goal is scored. And this is what we want to create and what we're all about.
Speaking of the Champions League, I know it's a competition that you obviously dearly enjoy. Tell us about the group, your thoughts of it, and there's a romantic tie there, isn't there, with AC Milan to look forward to?
AC Milan is a fantastic tie because AC Milan is football history by itself. All the icons on the bench, Arrigo Sacchi and all the Dutch players, and of course Carlo Ancelotti as a player and as a coach. This is one of the biggest clubs in Europe, and I've never played there. I've never played against them, so I will enjoy it. We know that Italian teams and Italian champions, especially, bring out their very best game on these kind of occasions. So it will be a tough one. We have to be ready for all of this, but it's exciting. It's a group where we will always have the ambition to go through and make it to the knockout, and we will need to prepare carefully.
When we think of the Champions League, we of course think of a certain Kai Havertz and the goal he scored in the final. I wanted to ask you about an Opta-stat that was brought up this week, about he's made more off-the-ball runs than anyone else in the Premier League. How big a part of his game is that?
He's working hard, honestly, so working hard, and I think sometimes this is also part of the reason why he's not maybe scoring as much as he can or as he should, because he is putting all this effort in. He's a hard worker off the ball, and for us, and when we have the ball, he's doing the runs, he sacrifices open spaces for others. So that's what he is, and that's what we like and love about him.
Finally, Thomas, your birthday on Monday. Happy birthday from all of us.
Yeah, thanks.
What would be the ideal present for you then this year?
I'm getting closer and closer to ignore my birthday, I have to say. Next year will be a strange number, I have to say. And
48, yeah?
I'm happy to stay 38 all the time, but it's not happening. It's so easy. The ideal gift is a win against Leicester before my birthday and a win against Southampton straight after. There is nothing more to wish for. The next gift you can give me is to ignore my next one, because the number next year is a horrible number for me. I did not have any problems with any birthday so far, but I feel it already rising, a very strange feeling that I don't like to be 50, but it's coming, I guess.
21 again?
21 again, yeah. Maybe we can ignore next year's birthday as a present for this year.
I love that. Thomas Tuchel speaking to Lee Parker earlier in the week, of course. Stamford Bridge filling out, sun's out, all in a good mood. feeling very, very ready for this afternoon. You can see the players that are going through their paces, and you may be able to spot one or two familiar faces. Here we go. Lauren James and Sam Kerr in attendance tonight. Obviously, very ready for the season to begin against West Ham in a couple of weeks here at Stamford Bridge. If you haven't got your tickets, tickets are still available. Do go and get them. I know you're going, Zach, aren't you? You got yours sorted?
Yes, indeed. You'll see me around the bridge. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the WSL, man, the season kicking off. The Euros was fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I think it's brought in a whole new age of fans, and like the way everyone supported the nation. If you were here, it was brilliant. So yeah, looking so forward to it. And Chelsea, I mean, one of the best teams in the world in men's and women's, and they'll be looking to go far, trying to win it again.
We're seeing there Beth England, Millie Bright and Fran Kirby with their winners' medal. Sam, I don't think I'd ever take the winners' medal off, mate, to be honest. I think it'd be everywhere.
Honestly.
Pre-season a lot. In pre-match.
I'll be sleeping with it, but I've heard a lot of them talk about how, you know, they got to go straight back into it now. You know, as the season starts, like you've won something and it almost gives you the energy to win more, especially at club level. You know how, like Zach said, it's going to be a difficult season. There's so many teams that have brought in quality players. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing season. But yeah, I would still have that medal on just to remind me that I'm a winner, world champ.
I'd be training with it a lot. I'd be on all the time. But you're right, added some real quality as well. And Chelsea as a whole have, obviously, we saw the PL2 last night, a few new additions in there as well, in the women's team and the men's team as well. Been very active in the market this season. But that really shows the sort of the vision that the new board have got coming in, that we are going to compete on all fronts, and Chelsea Football Club are absolutely going to be there or thereabouts.
It's fantastic to see, man. They've come in and not just looked at the men's team, they've looked at every single department of Chelsea and gone, OK, we need to make sure we're still progressing, still pushing forward, still being the leaders of them. I mean, we've seen it with the women's team over the past few years, to be honest, that you may be a fantastic player, but we're still going to be bringing in competition for your place. I mean, the fact that Beth England and Sam Kerr at times are fighting for the same shirt is mad, considering they'd both be starting for any other team. And the same's being said possibly for the men's team as well, and for the academy. Like, it's really, really impressive to see. And yeah, just for the only been in charge for a couple of months, it's been pretty good.
And club-wide as well, Sam. You know, we're seeing the slight additions and the upgrade, and even sort of bits and pieces that have been done in and around the stadium. You can really see the impact and the influence that the new board are having already. It does feel like something quite exciting, doesn't it? Especially to be a part of it as a Chelsea fan. So exciting to be in that.
Yeah, it's been amazing, and I think, like Zach said, like seeing that they're so engaged in improving every area of the club is just beautiful to see, because as a fan, that's what you'd want, you know what I mean? And when there was speculation around who is going to own and all of that stuff, everyone's, you know, worried, will the right owners, will they understand what it is to be a Chelsea and how much we want to compete across all the levels? And they've literally come in and said, yes, we want to. They've proven it, and they're still going to prove it as well. So yeah, it's amazing to see.
It really is. And again, I suppose now, Zach, you know, that Thomas Tuchel not going to be on the touchline, as Matt said, obviously because of the touchline ban this afternoon, but very much a case of everyone knows their job, everyone knows their role, ready for it to sort of replicate that commitment across the board and then onto the pitch.
Yeah, indeed. I'm sure he'll still be getting his messages from the changing room. You'll probably be able to hear him through the hallway. It's not too far from the pitch, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's club-wide at the moment, as you mentioned, the way it trickles down, and to see Thomas as well being backed, Emma's being backed, Neil Bath being backed, all in their departments getting the players that they want in, is fantastic to see. And the way that they've kind of come in and accepted everyone has been brilliant.
It's going to be interesting today to see who shouts louder, Thomas Tuchel or Jason Cundy. It'll be a tough one, I tell you, but if we could get some sort of measuring yardstick between the two of them, it'll be a tight one. And I tell you what, even there, Matt mentioned, you know, if Thomas wants to come and set up here, he's more than welcome.
Decent view for it. Good view.
You got to feel for Matt Davies-Adams then, haven't you? I mean, one of them either side is going to have a tough afternoon, but it does feel like everyone's excited for it and everyone's fully engaged. But especially with Thomas Tuchel, like you know that commitment is, even if he's not there, like you said, his influence and his impact is felt no matter where you are.
Yeah, and I think you can see, even the way we started the season, I was at the game at Goodison Park and he barely sat down, you know what I mean? And game against Spurs, you saw how active he was, even after full-time whistle, everything. He's an active manager. He wants the players and the fans to feel that energy so they understand, like, this is the standard that we need, and it's beautiful to see. Obviously, there's some managers that are quite quiet, but Tuchel, his methods works, and it's nice, man.
And we wouldn't have him any other way. Yeah, absolutely not. Love it. Well, we are not far away from kick-off then, so it's time to hand you over to our commentary team of Matt Davies-Adams and Jason Cundy.
OK.
Hello and welcome to the